very different sort of Grand Prix, wasn't it? Giancarlo Fisichella is a big winner here in Australia. We're going to talk to Mark Blundell and to Tony Jardine in just a moment. We're going to hear from the top three in the press conference as well, but just confirmation of the result. Fisichella, Giancarlo, numero uno in Oz. Barrichello, a steady drive from the Brazilian for Ferrari. Driver of the day, though, Fernando Alonso. Brilliant effort from 13th to third. David Coulthard, a sensational debut for Red Bull. They had a wonderful reception here in the week, and they'll celebrate tonight as well. Webber, fifth, equals his best ever in his home race. Montoya on a quiet afternoon for Williams in sixth place. Klein, the second Red Bull driver home, and Kimi Räikkönen there. He started from the pit lane in eighth place for McLaren. Right, let's have a word with you two fellas. Now, first of all, what do you make of it? I mean, a really different spectacle for everybody, for us here, for the people who've got up and watched back home.
I think it's very refreshing. I don't know what Mark thinks, but this time last year, we'd had a Ferrari going away with a jaw-dropping 2 seconds a lap ahead of everybody else, and we all went, how did they do that? So did the rest of the teams, and it was the dawning of the realization that they hadn't done enough work and Ferrari went away. Yeah. This is just so different, and there were so many changes and so much different action going on with the new regulations. The biggest regulation changes since 1998, and I think it's made a big difference.
Mark, what about you, and how much do you feel that the monsoon that we had yesterday sort of decided the shape of the Grand Prix itself?
I think it changed the effect of the Grand Prix grid quite considerably, Jim, to be honest with you. But we've seen that in the past. It's not the new regulations to change that with the weather conditions, but a fantastic result. I mean, I'm just overly impressed with Fisichella, actually. I know that Martin said Alonso's his man, but that guy never put a foot wrong throughout the whole Grand Prix.
Okay, well, it has been Renault's day here, and they fully deserve all those celebrations. We're just seeing the start of what is going to be a very big party indeed. I'm delighted to say that we're going to be joined here by Pat Symonds, who was up there on the podium. Pat, now you are a Renault man through and through. Take a deep breath. What does this day mean to you?
Oh, it means everything. I mean, fantastic result. We've had a good winter. It's been hard work, but we felt confident. But I must admit, you know, it was a strange qualifying session, and with Fernando down a little bit, I didn't think we'd get two on the podium. I was really hopeful for the win, but two on the podium, it really just crowns it. It's a great day for us.
You've stuck by Giancarlo Fisichella, haven't you? You've always had great faith in him. He's waited a very, very long time for this stage. It's the second time it's happened to him in 142 races, and the first time in Brazil was a little bit unsatisfactory anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. I think the only thing I can say is it won't be the last time. I think we're going to see a lot more of him this year.
Do you think this is really the sign of things to come from Renault? Do you now see yourself as genuine challengers to those big fellas, to the Ferraris?
Well, I think this time last year I said to you, you know, don't judge everything on the sample of one. We had a good race here last year. We've had a great race here this year, but, you know, it was strange circumstances. The McLarens didn't really get into it. It's going to be a lot closer, but I do feel we're going to be in with a shout right through the year.
Just a final one for you. You are a racing man through and through. What have you made of the different format, the different style of race we've had today?
Well, once again, you know, it's very easy to be critical of things and to make snap judgments. I think that you really need to see patterns develop. I quite like the idea of the single lap qualifying because, you know, it is something new. And now, you know, to get up early on Sunday morning and go and do it all again, it's a new skill. Yeah. Looking after the tyres, it's a new driver's skill. And I think we need to see how it develops over the year.
Out of 10, what would you give it?
Oh, today, 10.
I thought you might say that. Very well done indeed. I know you do enjoy the good days, don't you? Deserve this one. Thanks very much indeed. Okay, well, let's go and hear from, two Renault drivers in that press conference.
Giancarlo, when you last won a race, you weren't really able to celebrate at the moment. This one was very different.
Yeah, it's completely different. It's a great day for me. It's been a fantastic race. Honestly, I was quite conservative. I never push the limit. Just at the end when Rubens was catching me, I drove a little bit faster and I done a quick lap time. The car was great. It was a very good balance. The tire stays consistency from the beginning through the end. So we are really in a really good shape. It's the best start of my career, and to win the first race of the season, it's it's great. I'm really, really happy. I like to say thank you to all the mechanics, to all the Renault team.
Well, you mentioned tyres. Obviously, many new regulations for this new season. What were those last 20, 25 laps like when you weren't on new tyres and you were making those tyres last to the finish?
Honestly, because for the first part of the race, I was a bit conservative on the tyres. At the end, the car was still really, really good. In fact, in the last five or four laps, I did my best, my quickest time of the race. It was good. Was easy from the beginning to the end. I'm happy even because Fernando finished third, which is a great result for the team.
Absolutely. We heard you on the radio just before the first stop. You're talking a little bit about the balance, no change necessary. You mentioned something about the steering. We couldn't really hear it that clearly.
There was a little bit of understeering, but it's better to have a bit of understeering than oversteering during the race. So I spoke with my engineer and I told him, don't touch anything. I'm happy to carry on like that.
Well done. Rubens, a fantastic drive from you from the midfield, right up there, long fuel stops like Fernando, and a lot of pressure from him at the end, but a great drive up to second place.
No, I enjoy every second, and shows that Ferrari has no crisis. We are here, we're going to fight. We know that the teams have made a step up, but I want to really say congratulations to the team that put a good car together. It's only our still old car. The new car is going to come and give us even more pleasure. I'm really happy for the team. There's been a fantastic race, and the tires hold on very well. So I'm very proud of Bridgestone as well.
And a very busy race for you in terms of traffic.
Yes, absolutely. And there's new guys out there, and sometimes you have to give time for them to get the habit of Formula One, and sometimes they were in the middle, and you just. You cannot say much. It's really the first race, but apart from that, it was okay.
Thank you, Rubens. Fernando, 13th on the grid, held up really for 17 laps behind Villeneuve. We saw a little bit of bodywork coming off your car at one moment. You set fastest lap and you got up to third place, nearly catching Rubens on the line. A sensational day, underlining the supremacy of Renault.
Yeah, it has been a good weekend. I was always in the top three, even in wet conditions on Saturday, and for sure the 13th place on the grid was not my real position of the potential of the car this weekend. So I knew that I should go through the slow people very quick, but I found Jacques for 17 laps with a very good fight, but I lost nearly 25 seconds to the podium finish. But anyway, I was confident to recover this time, and thanks to the team, to the balance of the car, to the pit stops that were fantastic again from the guys, and also from I think we have to say thanks to Michelin. We did a good job, and to have this type of tire with this consistency throughout the race is something really, really fun for the drivers, and you can push in any lap of the race and set the fastest lap at the end.
And was the car affected in any way by going off the road when you did?
No. Well, I was 2 or 3 times in the grass because I knew that was important part of the race, these laps behind Jack. And I was really pushing very hard with maximum fuel load that we start probably. And it was difficult to drive, but no, the car was every lap quicker and I enjoy all race.
Fantastic. Giancarlo, turning back to you, obviously incredibly early days, but a dominant victory. How do you feel yourself in terms of 2005 and what you may be able to achieve this year?
I'm really confident for the rest of the season. I know we are just at the first race, but already we got a fantastic potential, and I felt that already the first time I drove that car. In January, end of January, already the first few laps, the car was quick, it was easy to drive it. So now we need just to working on it, carry on with the development and try to win again.
These boys have won again today. Big style.
Happy Mother's Day!
Race winners.
You're back with us right in the middle of the Renault celebrations at the Australian Grand Prix in Albert Park, Melbourne. Yep, happy Mother's Day to everybody back home. I'm sure you two want to say that as well, won't you, to your mums? But let's first of all have a look at the start of the Australian Grand Prix. David Coulthard got away very well indeed, didn't he? And so did the Renault, particularly Giancarlo Fisichella.
Well, we always knew the Renaults would be fast off the line. They were fast all season long last year. But I think DC's start was the most remarkable, and actually he just overcooked it slightly going into turn one, but he got away with it. You just see, look, it comes up the inside, locks the tyre, and just that little bit of extra momentum just passes him underneath Webber. That's the situation there which he capitalised on. He put him into third place, but I think a very clean start overall, and no other problems for anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, this was Villeneuve on the inside there, and he got past by David Coulthard. Just superb manoeuvre there. I mean, it's very close for me, as him being the driver of the day for me, because I thought Coulthard was great. He sorted the car out. He was under a lot of pressure, but he did a fabulous job.
Absolutely. I think we can have a word with David, who's had a super day here in Melbourne. He's talking to Ted.
He has indeed, Jim, had a super day here, David. And Christian was saying it could have been a podium, but really, is that a bit too much to ask?
Not today, no, absolutely not. I think I lost a lot of time in traffic. I hit a Minardi and I seemed to overtake about, 6 Jordans out there. So we lost a lot of time in traffic, and with the incidents, with Mark and with Rubens. So all it would have taken is track position, and then I could have held Alonso. But, the reality is we were benefiting a lot from the unusual qualifying situation. That won't be the normal situation at other Grand Prix, but we have to be very happy that in Red Bull's first Grand Prix as owners, then both Christian and I were in the points.
It must be immensely pleasing. How do you feel personally inside? I mean, it's a lovely start, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great because, of course, a lot of people were giving their opinions that I should go off and do something else, and not that I do it for other people, but for a while there it wasn't certain whether there'd be an opportunity, and Red Bull have given me that opportunity, and in return they get my commitment. And I dreamt there for a minute. I could make it 61 times on the podium, and that will still be a dream. And I want to just do a professional job and enjoy myself. And the weekend I have enjoyed. I'm going to enjoy tonight, and that's what I want to do the whole season.
Just one final thing. Martin talked in the commentary about you two agonising over the decision actually to join a team like this. New owners, not sure about how it's going to go. How do you feel now about the rest of the season with Red Bull?
Well, I think we did it the right way. We drove the car first of all in Jerez before making a decision, rather than just signing a piece of paper and committing yourself and then regretting it afterwards. And I knew after that first test, when I worked with the guys, that they have all the ingredients to run at the front in a Formula One World Championship. They obviously just need resources, investment, technology developed, and bring all those elements together. But the core of the team, the human side of it, is everything is there. So I have to thank the construction side of things back in Milton Keynes, because when I hit the Minardi, I thought my nose was going to fly off, but it all hung together. So well done to everyone back in Milton Keynes.
Very well done to you too.
He's entitled to feel happy with himself. He's won here twice, hasn't he, Tony? But he would derive unbelievable satisfaction from what he's done here today.
I think so. He's just coming up to his 34th birthday. As you say, he's got 50 podiums. He's got 13 Grand Prix wins. The reason why Red Bull Racing have hired him is because of all that experience. And we were saying earlier on, once he's out of those corporate shackles of McLaren, you really see him perform. But in his debut for the team to take 4th place, I think is truly remarkable. And he showed it on the track. He showed great steel, great resolve. And none of the complaints that we've heard from DC in the past, this was loose, that was loose. There he was out there doing it.
Out there doing it alongside Mark Webber at one stage in this Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's a very interesting part of the race, this indeed. And I think actually DC just got snarled up behind a Minardi there. Nearly took him out of the race. I'm sure they'll be having words, but I think there'll be bigger words between Mark Webber and DC. They got squeezed out quite badly.
The other British driver expected great things here today. Doesn't often go that well in Melbourne, it has to be said. Only scored his first points here last year, and a little bit of a low-key performance from the BAR. Let's have a word with Jenson Button.
Jenson, not particularly outstanding start to the season, was it?
No, it's pretty bad, pretty awful race. The start was my fault, but you know, first of all, I thought we're really slow. You know, the car's not handling very well when I was behind Jack, but as soon as I got past him, second pit stop, the car was pretty good, low 26s, which I think is pretty quick. So yeah, losing 3 seconds a lap behind Jack didn't really help, but I couldn't get past him, and for some reason we pitted earlier than we should have, which didn't help us.
And I guess by then it was really too late to make much of an impression, even if you did have a bit more speed.
Yeah, I mean, Massa was 13 seconds, 14 seconds in front when I came out the pits, and I caught him up at the end, but well, you know, it's just it's not good enough, really.
You didn't take the checker flag. Just talk us through that.
We had a problem. The guys came on the radio. I don't know what it was, but you'll have to speak to the team about that.
Are you serious? Both BARs didn't take the checker flag. I would have thought that was a strategic decision that would enable you to change your engine for the next race.
We're told we had a problem and we stopped.
All right, thanks.
Disappointing then for Jenson Button and BAR. They will pick up, believe me, on that. Fernando Alonso, Martin's driver of the day. Jacques Villeneuve started high up the grid and it seemed to me held a few people back at one stage. There were bits flying off the car and things. Mark, what was happening there?
I think Jacques just had a terrible day. He just didn't really get it together. He didn't get it together all weekend long, did he? But you see the situation here. Alonso goes down the inside of him a little bit too deep, and actually Jacques managed to pull that spot back again. But Jacques was just getting himself in a few problems with a number of drivers as we're going on for the Grand Prix, and I'm sure a few people will have a number of words with him. That's a 1997 world champion not really being up to scratch. Great part of this race here with the move there by Alonso. He definitely put it underneath him there in the correct way.
It's fair to say he's had a disappointing return to Formula One racing, hasn't he? Let's talk about the current world champion. Everybody will say, oh, well, Australian Grand Prix. I suppose Michael Schumacher won it, did he? He didn't. And he was down the back and he didn't score.
A lot of people will be very relieved. Of course, Michael Schumacher fans will be very upset. But that's what's given us a great start to this 2005 season. And we said yesterday, whatever happens, we really want Michael Schumacher to have to work for it this year. Mark Webber has just come out of his pit stop, and obviously the tyres are not quite warm enough. He gets offline, he has Michael Schumacher behind him as well, and yet he defended his position from out wide and really held his own there. And Michael didn't really have anywhere to go.
And he didn't have anywhere to go when his race ended, when he was in collision with, as you have to put in the insurance forms, I believe, with Mr. Heidfeld.
Yeah, well, actually, I put it down to Michael Schumacher, that problem, because I think Michael actually saw Heidfeld coming down the side, made a little move on him and blocked him and put him on the grass. You know, you can't brake on the grass with a Formula One car. There's just no traction there. So I think Michael caused it. Look, just moves over on him, forces him on the grass. How are you going to stop the car? There's no grip there whatsoever. I think it's still amazing he got away as well.
Well, do you think there should be perhaps one or two things happening to Michael Schumacher after that? If you say it was totally down to him, should we see a bit of
Well, I think they need to address that. You know, but at the end of the day, he lost his result, and I think he will know when he goes home that he needs to think about it and review it.
And was this just a total one-off, Tony, or is this a sign of things to come, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, very difficult circumstances the first day of qualifying with the rain. You're disadvantaged to be pushed so far back. But I'd also question Michael Schumacher and getting pushed out of that situation. He was there for so long. And he did that at the Nürburgring after Juan Pablo Montoya tangled with him 2 years ago. And he got away with it because it was a quick start and he was in a dangerous position. There, in my opinion, he should have got out of the car and should have got the car out of the way. That was wrong.
OK, more from BAR now. This man says they will improve this season. They haven't today. He's the boss, Nick Fry.
Nick, not a brilliant start to the season. I think fairly lacklustre race for the team, really.
I think that's a great description. Very lacklustre, very disappointing. Obviously, a bit of stuck in traffic and not a very good start, but there's no excuses. The car performance wasn't there, and we need to work on that.
Now, both cars failed to take the checker flag. Just talk us through that one, because I've just spoken to Jenson. He tells me that he was told he had a problem and come in.
Yeah, well, our reading of the rule is that if you fail to finish, you have the opportunity to change your engine. And obviously, we wish to take advantage of that in that we can put new engines in the car and start Malaysia afresh and hopefully do better.
So it was then a strategic decision, really, to give you the best possible chance in Malaysia?
It was.
Christian Horner has seen both cars score here today, but you're not satisfied.
I mean, it was a fantastic debut race for Red Bull Racing, and I mean, David drove an unbelievable race for us today. The guys in the pit stops turned the car around, tremendously well. He made a great start. We got up to second, jumped truly. Thought we were going to be able to contain the Ferrari and Alonso, but to finish fourth on merit. And, to have Christian up there in seventh as well is just a fantastic result for the team.
It's a phenomenal performance. The reason I said you're not satisfied, you were whispering that word podium in my ear before we joined you.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been great, to have held on to that. But, with no retirements today, to be up there on merit, if you'd have said to me on the plane on the way out here, you'll be fourth and seventh, I'd have taken that.
Magnificent start, though. Have you surprised yourselves a bit here? Because you'll have surprised a lot of people in the F1 world.
Well, we've had a good, pre-season testing. Red Bull, are here to compete, and we've put some solid foundations down today.
Just a word on the new style of race we saw here today from you. What do you think of it?
I thought it was a good race. From our point of view, it was excellent. It was good to see not a Ferrari running away at the front, and I thought it was a pretty good event.
Well done, Christian. Very good start for you. We'll see you in Malaysia.
Thanks very much. Look forward to it.
Okay. Not such a happy fellow, I don't think, will be this man. Team boss at McLaren, Ron Dennis.
Well, Ron, after qualifying, it was never going to be easy, but did you ever think it would be that difficult?
Yeah, it's character-building stuff, Really threw away second place. I don't know if it was on television, but when Pablo went off, and obviously two things happened. He got his tyres very dirty, and of course they cooled then. So he struggled for grip thereafter, and you're faced with engine conservation. You're thinking, do you push hard and try and get somewhere? So really, he threw a second place away, and then it was a matter of looking after the engine. And Kimi just stalled. Painful. As these things happen. His fastest lap was set without a deflector, which is pretty impressive. I mean, we have the pace to win, so just got to sort of grin and bear it. But it's not the way to go motor racing.
Do you think that's Juan Pablo just trying too hard in his sort of typical fashion? Does he need to learn a bit about how to race these new rules with one set of tyres?
Well, I mean, you could never criticise a driver that tries hard, and we all make mistakes. I think it's just that the penalty you pay for a mistake now is severe. The moment that you get your tyres dirty, the temperature drops so quick, and it takes a long time to get it back in, and it's just a bit frustrating. But I mean, as always, it is the same for everybody, except that, when you've got these quirky qualifying wrecks, and the weather that we had, it just heavily distorts the outcome. But maybe that was the intention.
Just a quick word for an old pal of yours, David Coulthard, finishing fourth in still a very young team. I mean, what did you make of that?
Well, it's a young team, but the car's been under development since May, so he had a good drive and did a good job. It's good for him. I'm happy for his fourth place. Let's just say the only people in front of us that have concerned us as regards pace are the Renaults, and of course that gives them a good start in the Constructors' Championship, but there's a long way to go yet.
Thanks. Just very quickly sum it up for us. One word.
Unbelievable.
Different.
Lovely. Thanks to you both. Fantastic. Let me just promote our coverage coming up later today here on ITV1. Another chance to watch this race this Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. The highlights are around midnight. The show repeated ITV2 at 1 a.m. late on Monday night. And next stop for our ITV F1 team, Kuala Lumpur, the Malaysian Grand Prix, qualifying 12:40 Saturday lunchtime. The race 6:40 on the Sunday morning. Rerun 1:45 lunchtime, and the highlights are just after midnight. Be sure to watch out for the Mexico Rally as well next weekend. So the nearly man, Giancarlo Fisichella, has delivered on a magnificent day for Renault. A different style of race. I hope you felt it was worth getting up for. Thanks as always for your company. Good morning.
F1 on ITV, sponsored by LG.